Kombora ni boli poa. Kombora tuliza boli uwanja mdogo.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our show today, our first ever show. And today we are pleased to have Mr. Ronald Okoth, a self-made entrepreneur from Nairobi, Kenya, based in Jericho. Welcome in studio, Mr. Ronald Okoth.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. It's a pleasure to be on the show for the first time. Great to be making my debut on the show.
You're welcome, sir. So, can you tell us who you are and how people know you and what you do?
Well, I think basically I'm just a simple man. My name is Ronald Okoth. I play for a club called Sofapaka in the Kenya Premier League. I'm also the founder of RO Sports and RO Sports Soccer Academy. And apart from that, I'm also a soccer analyst or a soccer pundit. And among other things that I'm trying to do, entrepreneurship and all that. So I'm just a jack of all trades. But above all, I'm playing the Kenya Premier League with a passion for trying to develop football at the grassroots through some of the programs that we are putting in place, like RO Sports and RO Sports Academy, among others.
Thank you very much. Just to follow up on that, how did you come up with this business idea, like to get your own brand?
Well, I think it's about thinking outside the box, because if you look at the way football is being managed, the way professional athletes are handling their business in elite leagues away from Africa, you find that they're doing things different totally from the way we are doing things. And I think I was inspired by that, because I saw the gap that we have locally in terms of how professional we are. And I also saw how there's a very huge potential in terms of we as athletes being our own brands. And I told myself, there's a gap that I really want to close in between. And that's when I had all sorts of reasons of how maybe I can be my own brand, of how maybe I can build my brand. Because again, I must realize that there exist other opportunities outside the football playing field that we can maximize on. But it can only be possible if we are our own brands. But if I looked around and I saw that most players actually don't even realize that they're own brands, and opportunities are passing us because we still can't project or maybe present ourselves as brands. And that's when I had the idea of I told myself I'll be my own biggest fan, and from today onwards I'll try and maybe package myself in a way that maybe somebody can look at me as a brand, or maybe a kid somewhere can look at me and maybe say I want to be like him, so and so. And I think it has really helped me a lot, because along the way I've gotten some endorsement deals with some companies, being a brand ambassador. And also I think it has really helped leverage me in a position whereby I'm getting some opportunities, like even being on the TV, doing the sports analysis, networking with coaches, networking with football agents, because again, they look at you in a different way. They just don't look at you as a local footballer, they look at you as a professional. And that's where I thought that, you know what, I can maximize on this opportunity and try and build my own brand. And so far it has been good.
That's a good the way you are elaborating is the way you came up with this idea, and now where you are is really encouraging to other people. So we as FAROVA, we're doing this. We want to make this your show. People can know you. There's a saying that when JFK said in 1961 in the presidential inauguration, he stated that ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Yeah.
And that's a good example for you, what you're doing in Kenya.
Yeah, true.
We really appreciate you. So FAROVA, we are coming in to facilitate you, and come in and help you make your goals being achieved. And this is what you want to see back home. So for a follow-up question, Can you just tell us more about your business? What does it entail, and where do you see it growing to?
That's a very good question. I think Arrow Sports. We are a community-based organization, and our main aim is to try and develop football at the grassroots. We want to empower, we want to inspire, we want to mentor the next generation of footballers, because while we are growing up, I think we lacked some of those guidelines. We lacked people to maybe show us the way. And looking at the challenges I faced, and now being in a position to maybe try and change some of these things, I felt I was privileged enough. I felt that I was lucky enough to try and come up with ways and means of how we can improve our football at the grassroots, how we can improve our situation. Because year in, year out, you hear former players crying out loud, things are not going okay, things are not going okay. But again, what are we doing to ensure that these things that are not going okay can start going okay? If we don't step up and change some of these things, I think we'll continue crying loud year in, year out. And I thought it twice, you know what? I don't have much, but at least I have my ideas, and it's a long-term goal. It's a long-term project. It might not pick up the way I'd want, but eventually, with the right support, with the right patience, with consistency and being patient enough, I think things will pick up. And so that's how I came about with Arrow Sports. We want to mentor, we want to inspire, we want to empower the next generation of footballers, with a major focus on the grassroots, because much concentration has been given on the top tier football, and you find that at the grassroots there's not that much support, and that's where the talent is. You know, that's where we should be developing our young emerging talents while they're still raw, so that at least they can grow up with the right guidance. And even if they all want to play football professionally, but at least you've played a role in terms of ensuring that they grow in the right way, so that they don't, follow the wrong path, just the way we've seen in our neighborhoods and all that, youth, teens going the wrong direction, and they are talented footballers at some point. And Arrow Sports, that's now that's what you want. Plus, again, if you look at according to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, sports can be used as a tool for development, as a tool for peace, as a tool for trying to engage the community. And that's why Arrow Sports, we are there, and we have plenty of programs in place. We some of our programs, we want to do player athlete branding, athlete marketing, looking for sponsorship and endorsements for some of these young players, some of these young clubs in the grassroots. We try and maybe we also have a program called One Kid One Pair, whereby we at least ensure that we distribute free football kits and shoes to those teams or kids that deserve it. Because again, if you look at back in the neighborhoods, some of these kids, some of these teams, they lack the basic things that they require in terms of playing football, or maybe just getting engaged in football. They lack things like uniforms, they lack football shoes, they lack proper football kits, or maybe accessories. And One Kid One Pair is one of the programs under Arrow Sports, child welfare development. And God willing, so far it's been so good. So far it's been so good because we've given out over 53 pairs of shoes to kids, and also we have the Arrow Sports Soccer Academy falling in under the same program of Child Welfare Development Department. And that's Arrow Sports is actually a big umbrella. We're trying to help them get clubs. We're trying to help them plan properly for business, or maybe financial advisory. We are trying to help them transition from maybe football to life after football. We just want to see a change in our football, and the best time to do some of these things is to work with these kids, these boys and girls, while they're still young, so that in the near future, even if they don't play football professionally, but at least you'll be proud to see your input into their lives, the same way FAROVA Development Initiative did into my life some few years back, because I was part of this program, and today I'm here. I am because of some of the opportunities I got through FAROVA Development Initiative. And since we lack some of those structures, some of those programs, today, I think this is just one way of coming up with Arrow Sports to try and ensure we try and bridge that gap, while hoping for initiatives like FAROVA Development Initiative to come back and just continue making the positive change that is needed.
Thank you very much. Your story is really interesting, and somebody can, maybe the guys back home, or the team that you coach, and the kids that you want to mentor, it's very interesting. They can see you as a role model and come to picture what you've gone through. before you mentioned like something to do with mentorship. That's a very key thing in mentoring. Before we go to mentoring, can you tell us where you grew up? I mean, your childhood experience up to playing for Jericho and coming in to be an entrepreneur. Can you just walk us through?
That's a good question. Funny enough, I wasn't born in Nairobi. I was born somewhere in Siaya, in up country. That's where I was born, and I grew up. I grew up in the up country, and I think life there was quite adventurous because again, I know. No television, no toys, no PlayStation. It's just us maybe trying to play football, trying to ride the tires, by bicycles and all that. And growing up there, I think it taught me how to appreciate where I come from, because I used to dream one day I'll come to Nairobi, but eventually my family members, my mother, he got an opportunity to come to Nairobi. He got transferred from where she was working, and also my sister came to Nairobi for higher education in university. And I think back then I was still in high school, also in up country, and I was in a boarding school. So whenever we could close school, I'd come to Nairobi. No, in primary school, whenever I could close school, I could come to Nairobi maybe for a few weeks, and then go back up country. And that's how I came to know about Salem Sportif, Jerusalem Sportif. And that's where I used to train. I used to play with them. And then I got an opportunity to join Jericho All Stars. I was approached by Victor, the Jericho All Stars secretary, and also the chairman, Mr. Isaiah Goro. They approached me to try and come and join their team, because playing for Salem Sportif, I was among the most outstanding players. And they saw it worthwhile to maybe try and sign me in their team. And moving to Jericho All Stars was a very good move for me, because it's one of the teams that was most organized back then. It was so professional, in a professional setting. And moving there, I think it really opened for me a lot of ways, because that was the first time I wore a jersey with my own name. That was when I was so exposed to some of these things. And from there on, I think I got an opportunity to join Congo United in the Kenya Premier League. So a lot of opportunities came through from Jericho Stars. That's when we also started playing the FAROVA Development Initiative. So it was just a roller coaster of a ride. And I look back and I always trust the process. And I'm so grateful for how things ended up. So here I am today, coming from all that, all the way from Siaya to Nairobi. And now here I am, at least I'm trying to make a change. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I mean, looking at your story, it's very encouraging. Like coming back from up country, coming back all the way to Nairobi, and being a boarding school. Being in boarding school, I know how challenging it is. And then come up, you find that the kids who are in the neighborhood, or we call them Jani. Yeah. They kind of develop skill-wise. So did you play soccer while you were in school? So that by the time you came back in Nairobi, you were like on the same standard like the rest, or what happened?
Yeah, I played football while I was still young, but I never actually thought that I could make a living out of it, because when you're in up country, there's certain opportunities that you look at. You say, I live in an up country setting. How will I get such an opportunity to maybe make it with football? But the moment I came to Nairobi, I actually realized people are so serious about football. There are so many opportunities that are existing in the urban setting compared to up country setting. And I told myself, you know what, if I get an opportunity, I'll always make the best out of it. I'll grab it wholly and just make the best out of it. And playing football, I played it while I was still young, in primary and even in secondary school. In secondary school, I was actually even playing tennis and handball. I was mixing all the sports all together, just to get an opportunity to leave the school a bit for the outings and all that. But I played serious tennis and serious handball, and also football. And when I came to Nairobi, that's when my eyes actually opened, and I saw how serious guys take football in Nairobi. And again, it's because of the opportunities that exist in the city itself. And I was so inspired to try and maybe now push myself to the limit, so that at least I can make a living out of it. And through resilient and God bringing in guys who will bless me in my life along the way to try and help me reach my goals, I think that's where I am today. So coming to Nairobi definitely helped me realize that there's a big opportunity for me to try and play football professionally. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. On you coming transition from Nairobi, I mean, in the country, then coming back to Nairobi, you mentioned something like to do with the people who mentored you or encouraged you. Can you define yourself as a self-image, or these people made you maybe inspired you? Can you mention them and at least somebody can give credit to, like really walk you through when, you know, like when you come from the country, you come to the city, there's some people who tells you you can follow this way or this way. Who in particular, or which community in particular helped you to get through that? Can you just walk us through, please?
I think I'm so grateful to, first of all, Salem, the Jerusalem community, Coach Conte, Coach Kijonko, because they gave me the opportunity to try to play for Jerusalem Salem Sportif. It was just a small club within the neighborhood, and it's through Salem Sportif that I got to join Jericho All Stars. And then again, I must give much credit to Isaiah Goro and Vicky and Coach Okongo for the opportunities, countless opportunities for helping me join Jericho All Stars so that I can at least develop my skills and all that. So I must credit Coach Okongo, Chairman Isaiah Goro, and our treasurer then, Mr. Vicky, and also our board chairman, our main president in the club back then until now, Mr. Ronald, Mr. Regan, and it's been something collective, because on my own I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it on my own. We have the likes of Reginald, who heads the club. We have Isaiah Goro, Coach Kijonko. So they all helped me to settle well in the city. They all helped me to try and achieve my dreams. So I owe a lot of respect to them, and that is actually why up till today we are still close, we are still tight, and maybe just trying to now maybe help in a certain way so that we can also get the next Ronald Okoth, the next Doki, the next Turanira Kirianki, the next Bombe, the next Odengo, the next Gatocho. Those are some of the guys we played with the football back then, and it's good to now be in a position to try and help change things at the grassroots in the same neighborhood that helped me get some of the things that I have today.
That's very, very good of you. Something related to that, but I'm trying to now to picture what's your succession plan. Do you have any succession plan you've set forward, like you know, what's gonna be after you being there for this time, and then you've seen these people coming up and go, but now you're here, you're giving back to the community and doing all these kinds of stuff. Do you have any succession plan in your organization?
Yeah, definitely. My succession plan is actually already, we're already hitting the ground. We're already breaking the ground already, because with programs like Arrow Sports and having even mini programs like Arrow Sports Academy, we're already trying to set up the future. Because for us, I have some big dreams, because they say again, if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. Some of my dreams are so big and scary that sometimes I ask myself, will I ever achieve some of these things? Because at some point, I always wanted to come up with Arrow Sports as a community-based organization. It's a dream that I had, but some few years, maybe few months, season or two or so, here we are. We have Arrow Sports actually in existence. I also had dreams of starting my own football academy. And I used to ask myself, will I really make it? Is it something that will really materialize? Again, here we are. We already have the academy in place. We are just doing the final touches so that things can roll out. So my succession plan is definitely to try and get involved with the promoting football in the grassroots. And through the programs that we have, we want Arrow Sports to be a big organization. We want to have like our own sports complex, like Arrow Sports Complex. Actually, I'm even writing. Actually, I was even speaking a few years ago. I was writing our sports complex plan, because we want to build something like a sports complex, made in the model and structure of Crystal Palace. And Crystal Palace, they have an academy that is category 1. That's one of the best academies alongside Arsenal, Man City, Manchester United. So being a Crystal Palace fan, I'm a huge Crystal Palace fan, and I copied the model of the academy structure and the academy complex, and I believe that is something that we can even apply here in Kenya. So I'm looking at a bigger picture, a bigger future, and a bigger picture in that Arrow Sports will be having our own Arrow Sports complex, something that has been made in the model in the structure of Crystal Palace, and Premier League club, and it's something that will be used by the community. It's something that will be used by the academy to train. It's something that will be used. It will even have education and training center whereby the community can benefit from it. It will have at least proper training facilities. We'll have even a swimming pool. We'll have a training ground. We'll have a hotel inside there. It will be something big. And to me, those are some of my succession plans. And also, I studied Bachelor of Science in Information Science at Kenya Methodist University. And I feel that after football, it's something that I'll also try and put into use while I'm still trying to stabilize and also push my other project. So we have plenty of things to do. And I believe all those things, I planned for them while I was still playing, and I think it gives me a little bit an edge, because at least I know what I want to do after football, so that it will be easier for me to transition from football into now the other side of life after football.
Man, I mean, you are just inspiring. The kids out there, I think whenever you talk to them, you tell them these big dreams you got. I mean, it's unbelievable, because maybe if you get somebody your age, it's kind of the same age, people, you don't think the same. You've got a very broad vision, and you're putting them down. Actually, you're writing them down.
Yeah, true.
You're like foreseeing like what's going to happen. That's a really, and that's where FAROVA comes in. Like people like you, we come in and say, hey, pat you on the shoulder, man, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
We're gonna use this studio to you're welcome, to tell other people what to do. The resource is not supposed to come from politicians only. People like you.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily, or maybe money coming from abroad all the time.
Yeah.
There's resources there. They can use you. They can tap your knowledge and make themselves better.
True.
That's how you build each other. We empower people. And I'm just gonna deal on mentorship, because you find out that many kids, or maybe children, during my growing times in Kenya, you found out that many of my friends followed path that maybe they were not guided, or I don't know what happened. There must be some disconnect, and that's what you're trying to do. So what do you think about the mentoring? Like right now you have you're planning to start an academy, doing all that. What do you plan on? Or actually, what do you think about the mentoring part before what you plan? What do you think about the mentoring part?
I think can you come up again with the question? I think you've broken up a bit, the last part.
I said, what do you think about mentoring the kids that you're mentoring? What do you think? What do you think about the program itself?
Well, when it comes to mentorship, I think that's the most important part of helping develop a child while he's still young. Because also while I was growing up, and even up to today, I think some of the guys I grown up with, some of them went into crime. Some of them, gave up on their dreams and maybe went the wrong path. And even up to today, I've seen some kids who are actually kids, and today most of them are teens. They're almost my size, my height, and everything. They've been engaged in crime, and we actually realize there's a very big disconnect with the way we are handling our kids back in the neighborhood. Because again, you find that life is a bit tough for them. They don't have any guidance. They don't have any hope. And I think sport, being as a tool that can be used for development according to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and everything. I realized that through RO Sports we can try and change some of these things. And the earlier we start mentoring these kids, the earlier we start showing them the way, guiding them, telling them, you can still be able to do this, the right, you can still be able to walk this way and be able to live rightly. I think it's so important. It's something that goes a long way for them. And the best way, or the best time to start mentoring some of these guys is when they are still kids. They say you should start mentoring, or you should start guiding a kid while they're still young, because they learn a lot while they're still young.
Yes.
And that's where now RO Sports comes in, because through our different programs, we have even mentorship programs that will be bringing in professionals from different fields. They may be doctors, they may be teachers, musicians, TV presenters, celebrities, celebrated sportsmen and sportswomen, to just come and have a talk with them, to just come and have a word with them, because that one-on-one experience with somebody who's successful in life in a different career, it goes a long way into making this kid realize, maybe I cannot play football professionally in the near future, but I can choose this other career that can still be able to sustain me, or can still be able to make me live well. So mentorship is one of the most important programs that we have, and we are doing it through different ways, through the One Kid One Pair, whereby we give them shoes, we give them football kits, we give them football accessories for free, to just try and inspire them to be attracted to football, or maybe to just try and inspire them to see a better future with them. So mentorship is a very, very, very vital program, because if we don't show our kids, if we don't show some of these kids the right way, we will lose them in the long run. So the earlier we start doing this, the better. And it's time for us to bridge that gap. And there are no better guys to do some of these things than us, who are definitely involved with the everyday activities that are happening in our neighborhood.
Oh man, thank you very much. I mean, your story, man, I think many people will learn from it. It's just like very, very powerful to see someone like you coming up from the country. That's what I'm picturing, coming from the countryside, coming back to the city, doing all these great things, man. I mean, it's just, I give you a big hand, and FAROVA, we're gonna try and give you the much support you need.
Thank you.
So I know you've been doing all these things, and sometimes people say you got some strength and some weakness. Can you tell me what really are your strengths? Maybe just chip in on what are your weaknesses. Do you have any strength and weakness to be where you are as an entrepreneur?
Yeah,
somebody out there can learn from me.
Definitely my biggest strength is being my own biggest fan, because I realized, again, in our local football setting, if you're really not aggressive enough to try and put yourself outside there, it will be so difficult for you to get noticed. It will be so difficult for you to actually, people to actually see the worth or what you bring, your value, or what you bring in the table. Because I must say this, it's really taken me quite a lot of time to maybe try and package myself, and maybe try and start getting the interviews, try and just put my things outside there, because coming from up country, playing for maybe some small clubs before then, it was so difficult for us to try and put our name outside there. So I think being my own biggest fan is my own biggest strength, because I realized I must be my own biggest fan before even somebody else can be my fan. And it has really helped me a lot to just push my things, whether I'm doing it alone or maybe doing it with guys. I just have to give it my all. My weaknesses, I think do I really have a weakness, really? No, I really doubt if I have a weakness, but I think my weakness could have been maybe hearing what people have to say about me, or maybe the discouragement, lack of support, I think would have broken me. But being my own biggest fan, I think it has made me realize that you should not expect any support from anyone. You should not expect maybe everybody to like what you do. And it has helped me realize that I can just do some of these things alone. So again, being my own biggest fan has helped me deal with some of my weaknesses, and I don't even call them weaknesses as such. I just call them, I just trust the process. Whatever comes, it comes. But maybe I could have given up if I had something, maybe if I had a little heart, if I did not have all the courage, all the persistence, all the consistency, I would have given up. But being my own biggest fan has helped me just to keep moving. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. Being your fan, that's the most inspiring thing you can say, because once you believe in yourself, you can go there and market yourself. Because if you have any doubts, then it brings a lot of, you just like say, no, I can't make it, I can't make it.
Yeah, true.
And that's good.
True.
I mean, a good, you're doing great. Now, I know you have all these plans. So, like the Kenyan soccer, you've seen like many players, like maybe just falling off. They were great players, and now they are in the street, just like, you don't believe that's so and so. I won't mention names.
Yeah.
But do you have like a retirement plan for yourself, whereby you see that after this, I'm gonna, just do you have anything set up for yourself?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Or do you have any plans?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think whatever I've been doing over the years, Arrow Sports Academy, being a football analyst, I went to school, graduated with the Bachelor of Science in Information Science. All those are my succession plans. And I realized it was easier for me to plan for my life after football while I'm still playing, because while I'm still playing, at least I'm able to earn something little. And from whatever I'm earning, at least I'm able to start maximizing on it and actually thinking of life after football. And it has helped me to come up with such ideas like Arrow Sports, which is a community-based organization with bigger dreams and bigger goals, bigger vision. And now again, we're having an Arrow Sports Academy, also with bigger dreams, bigger goals, bigger vision, a program under Arrow Sports. And here we have goals like starting our own Arrow Sports complex in Kenya, something that will be one of a kind, even bigger than even Nyayo, something bigger than Nyayo Stadium, something bigger than Kasarani Stadium. And not big in terms of size, but big in terms of name and facility-wise, because it will be a top facility with actually literally everything that it's needed in professional sports today. So those are some of my succession or maybe my transition plans, life after football. And also, just like I told you earlier on, I studied Bachelor of Science in Information Science, and I graduated from Kenya Methodist University. And I realized also I just want to maybe put myself in a safe position whereby I'm still able to get maybe to work somewhere while I'm still also pushing my dreams to an extent whereby now at least we can get the donors coming on board, we can get sponsorships coming on board to working with us as Arrow Sports. We have our big office somewhere, so we're just doing things professionally. And also I have plans of maybe one day owning a club in the Kenya Premier League, because I'm so much into managing football. Wow. I really want to own my own club, and I think it's something that is possible because that's where we are heading to. Yeah.
I mean, you are just inspiring, and I believe you just suit our FAROVA mission and goal.
Yeah.
We need someone like you back there who is doing great things, and then use this platform to make sure that people back home, they tap the resources. As I said earlier, we need people like you, not necessarily sending money and doing all this stuff, but people like you, people are doing great things. We need people like you there in the community.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate you. So maybe to just wind up, because we are almost running out of time.
Okay.
I just like you to give us like a final thoughts. Like, what do you think this company of yours will do the community in terms of, I know you're saying mentoring, but what do you think that was really the big disconnect? Just to wind your final thought, what do you think that you can bring on the table to help the community and you guys work as a unit?
Well, that's a good question. I think Arrow Sports, if you look at our vision, our mission, actually it rotates around. We are trying to empower, inspire, and mentor the next generation of athletes. And we have different programs that we have in place. Actually, in our organization, we have 3 departments. We have the technical directors, the sports technical directors department, and we have the child player welfare development department, and we have the legal department. Under the technical directors department, we are trying to network with coaches. We are trying to network with football agents, network with football scouts, football managers, team managers, so that when we have a kid somewhere in the neighborhood who's good enough, whom we feel has the talent, it's easier for us to recommend him to these coaches. It's easier for us to recommend him to these scouts, to these football agents, to these team managers, so that this kid can move from playing in the grassroots, in the estates, to now playing even professionally, to playing even in where at least he can be earning something small. So that's where actually the sports directors department deals with. Under the child player welfare development department, now here is whereby we are trying to introduce the sponsorship and endorsements opportunities, where we try and look for our grassroots clubs, some sponsorship and endorsements, or maybe it might not be a club as such, but maybe it can be an individual in the community who's talented in football, a girl or a boy. We try and look for them this sponsorship endorsement, because some of these things, they're possible. It's being done overseas in the elite leagues. We see players working with big brands, working with organizations and all that. So it's something that we're trying to introduce back here at home, and it's something that will be beneficial to the community. If you have a kid from the community working with a certain brand, working with a certain organization, as a brand ambassador, as a athlete ambassador, doing advertisements, in return, this kid will be earning something, and whatever he'll be earning will be going back, will be trickling down to his family. It might not be much, but at least it has made a change inside their lives, and some other kids there will see, so-and-so is working with a certain brand, we'd also like to work with a certain brand. So we tell them, if you want to work with such a brand, so-and-so brand, you must behave this way. You must carry yourself out this way. So again, it helps changes the community perspective and the community mentality and all that. We are looking for things like sports scholarship. If you can get a sports scholarship for some of these kids in the community through Arrow Sports as an organization, the better, because we are able to maybe link them up with the free educational programs, so that these kids can go to school. Or maybe even if you're good enough, we can even be able to maybe forgo some of we sacrifice ourselves and maybe pay for 2 kids their school fees for the whole term. That will still be beneficial to the community, because if you educate a kid, you've educated the whole community, and those are some of our main focus, because our main focus is on the grassroots, and that the grassroots definitely involves the kids, the girls and the boys. We are trying to help these kids get teams. We're trying to help them get sponsorship and endorsement, brand them, market them properly, so that we put them outside there, package them well, do for them mentorship, help them in terms of business planning, financial advisory. We link them up with professionals who can guide them, who can show them the way. We try and help them focus on life after football or life after whatever they're doing. Like, what do you want to do next? You must have that smooth transition, so that we don't see the current trend of young men, young girls, young boys, just seated in our neighborhoods, drinking alcohol, engaging in drugs, no hope, no nothing. So we are trying to change. We are trying to break that cycle through Arrow Sports, and we believe through some of our programs, they'll be beneficial to the whole community at large. Yeah.
Wow, man! I think you got a very good plan, which if the community take advantage of it, you'll have great changes and great people like you come up from that setup.
Thank you.
So just for our podcast purposes, you're welcome. For our podcast purposes, we have the ticker going down the screen. But would you like to tell how people can contact you? Or maybe say where website and all that, so they can put it up there whenever we do the podcast.
Sure, no problem. Anybody who would want to reach out to me, or maybe you want to interact with me on my social pages or my social media handles, we have RONALD OKOTH on Facebook. We have RONALD OKOTH on Instagram, and also we have RONALD OKOTH on Twitter, and also RONALD OKOTH on LinkedIn. So let's just reach out to me, let's engage, and also maybe you can reach out to me on email, okothronald22@gmail.com, or maybe you can, just reach out in any way that you like to reach out, so that we can at least interact. Because again, we cannot underestimate the power of social media. I've seen what it has done in my life. I've seen how it has helped me network with the right guys. So you know what? Just keep in touch, and let's interact and engage, and build our football from the grassroots, and empower kids, inspire and mentor them.
Thank you very much. We'll do so. We'll share your contacts, and I'm sure some people will reach out to you. Like I shared your story with John Odhiambo Baresi,
Okay.
And he was very inspired. And I will tell you the next. We have a second show after this, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna talk like just Swahili. Today's been formal. This first show, so second show you're coming in the next 2 minutes. So watch out for us talking Swahili and go back in Tani. So thank you very much, Mr. Ronald. We're gonna hang up there, and
It's a pleasure.
Hopefully we'll do great things. You as working with FAROVA.
Without a doubt. Thank you so much.
Thank you.